we are talking a lot about quadratics, which we know from our last test. Quadratics, that's when you have a power of 2 in your equation. At the beginning of the year, we talked about lines. When it was linear, you had a power of 1. So quadratics have a power of 2. So first thing we're going to fill in, make sure that you are getting all this written down today, because some of your homework is just things from this notes, these first few pieces, and if you have them, it will be really easy for you. So the actual standard form for a quadratic is y equals ax squared plus bx plus c. X and y's are the variable, x and y. If you need a pencil, come trade me something. The a, b, and c just represent coefficients, so they could be different numbers. The key thing, if it's quadratic, then you have a square. In standard form, kind of like we had on our test, that's the highest to lowest power. So that's why your x squared is written first. When you graph these, you're always going to get a U shape, and it is called a parabola. So the graph will be in the shape of a U, called a parabola. Okay, what I want is for, why don't you get a graphing calculator if you don't have one? I want to look at the graphs of these. So, sorry, I should have thought about that at the beginning of class. Trade them out for a graphing calculator. Okay, I want you to go to the y equals on here. And we are going to type in this equation. So you don't have to have the y equals, it's already there. We type in x squared. So x, you see this button up here. X squared plus 2x minus 5. Alright, did everybody get that typed in? X squared plus 2x minus 5. And then I want you to push graph. We are going to use our graphing calculators a little bit more in this chapter. Y equals, and then you're going to type in
I'm not even sure how to put these extra ones.
x squared plus 2x minus 5. Okay, so just to recap. First, you are going to push y equals, this gray button up here. And so it should take you to this screen. Does everybody see that? Okay, if there's something there, just hit clear and it'll take it out. Now we're going to type in x. So it's right there by the green button. So it's highlighted red on my calculator right now. Did everybody get your x? And then we need squared. You could just use this square button right here, currently highlighted red. Plus 2x minus 5. All right. Now what I'm going to do, you won't. Okay, we won't have to do this every time, but I just want to make sure all of our calculators are showing us the same thing. So do me a favor. I need you guys to push zoom up here at the top. So along that same row as the y equals, hit zoom and then hit 6, and that will just reset our calculator so everybody's window looks the same. So when you hit zoom 6, then it should take you to your graph.
That's what I was asking.
Alright, who else?
You go x squared. Plus 2x minus 5. And you go 8 and you get graph. You just put the equation down,
Alright, so when we look at that, we see this is an upward parabola. It's opening up. So, if the A is positive, so if it's a positive x squared, it opens upward. Give it like a smile, okay? You're smiling, it's upward. Now what I want you to do is let's do this one. So go back to your y equals, hit clear, enter. So you should be looking at a blank screen. Okay, and then I'm going to type in negative x squared. So you have to use this negative button down here by the enter, not minus. Negative, then our x squared plus 3x plus 7. And hit graph up there on that top right.
Thing.
So it should look like this. Okay. So the first one that we plugged in, I didn't draw it at the time, but it was like this. The second one that we just plugged in should look like this. Did anybody have trouble getting these graphs?
He did.
Alright, so then we can see if you have a negative in front of your x squared, the graph is going to open down. Down like a frown. Okay, so negatives are down, positives are up. With these graphs, make sure you're getting all of this down because some of your homework is fill in the blank from here. So the axis of symmetry is the vertical line that divides the parabola into two equal halves. So if we think about up here, there is a vertical line that goes right through the middle of these parabolas. It's not drawn on the graph, but we could find it that if you folded your graph on that line, the two lines would overlap. That's the axis of symmetry. And it can actually be found, there is a formula for it. X is the opposite of B over 2A. Make sure you get that written down. We definitely will need that one today. Have a good day.
You too.
All right. The other thing that we're going to talk about today, so we have the parabolas if they open up or down. We have the axis of symmetry is like the halfway mark between the parabolas. And the final thing that I want to touch on today is the vertex. That is the turning point of the parabola. So it's like this point right here. That's a vertex. When you change direction, you're either going down and switching to going up, or you were going up and you switched to going down. When that vertex is a lowest point, we call it a minimum. When it is at the highest point, we call that a maximum. So today, what we are going to practice is finding the axis of symmetry and the vertex of our parabolas, and just having a rough idea of what those parabolas might look like. So when I look at this parabola, can you tell me, is that going to open up or down? Up, because I have a positive x squared. So my sketch, all I need from you on your sketch, I just want to see, do you know if it's upward or downward? So your sketch is an upward facing U. That's all I need from that today. Axis of symmetry. The formula that I have highlighted is the opposite of b over 2a. A, b, and c are the coefficients on this. A is the number in front of x squared. What is the number in front of x squared? 1. So A is 1. B is the number in front of x, which is 8. C is just the constant, which is 15. So when I do this, the opposite of B is negative 8 over 2 times A, so 2 times 1. I'm just plugging those things in. Two times 1 is 2. Negative 8 divided by 2 is negative 4. Now the axis of symmetry is a line, so you have to make sure you give me the full equation of the line. So you have to include the x equals with that. So x equals negative 4 is the axis of symmetry. That's the vertical line that would cut our parabola in half. You have to write x equals negative 4. If you just tell me negative 4, it's wrong, because that's a number, not a line. The vertex. Okay, so what the axis symmetry means, you don't have to include all this on your picture today, but this is the vertical line that goes through it. I want the equation of this point. It's an ordered pair. You already have the x value. That number from your axis of symmetry is the x value of that point. Now we just have to find the y. And to do that, we take our x and we plug it into the equation. So the equation is y equals x, so negative 4 squared, notice how I put it in parentheses, plus 8 times negative 4 plus 15. You're welcome to do that on your calculator, but when you type it in your calculator, make sure you put parentheses around that negative 4. So type that in, and what do we get? So the vertex is the point negative 4, negative 1. That's this ordered pair right here. Okay, you don't have to label all that in your picture today, your sketch. I just need to know if it's upward or downward. We are going to get more accurate with our graphs tomorrow. Today I'm expecting, can you find the axis of symmetry? Can you give me the ordered pair for the vertex? And do you know if your parabola opens up or down?
I gotta stay away.
Could you put it into the equation in the graphic section? We just want to get the calculator. Let's try a few more. Let's look at number 2. Okay, can you tell me right off the bat, what is my A value? -1. What's my B? 10. And C? Axis of symmetry is just x equals the opposite of B over 2a. So if I plug in, the opposite of 10 would be -10 over 2 times -1. So -10 divided by -2 is 5. If it doesn't work out evenly, you can leave it as a fraction. That might happen. But on your answer, you have to tell me x equals 5. Vertex is an ordered pair. So if I plug that in, it's the opposite, x is 5 squared. So notice this time the negative is out in front because it was my a. Plus 10 times 5 minus 23. So plug that in and see what you get. Did you guys get positive 2?
Yeah.
So my vertex is an ordered pair, x comma y. X was 5 and y is 2. Does everyone understand how I'm getting this information? What's wrong?
I get 52.
Because you didn't put the negative in the very front. Yeah, yours is in the front. See, because it was out in front of the x squared, it has to go in the very front. All right, can you tell me, is this parabola going to open up or down?
Down.
Down, because of the negative in front. Oh,
Good.
don't put it in. All right. So we have a downward parabola this time. Okay, we're going to do a couple more. Make sure we've got it. Let's look at number 3. So what is my A value? What is my B? And my C? So axis of symmetry, x equals opposite of B over 2a. If B is -12, what's the opposite? Positive 12. It just changes the sign. Over 2 times 3. So 12 over 6 is 2. So axis of symmetry, x equals 2. Vertex is an ordered pair. You're going to your equation, you replace your x with a 2. Okay, you can do that on your calculator. And we should get should be -7. Do you need me to figure out what you did? You put a negative sign there instead of subtraction on the calculator. The same. All right, so we should get y to be -7. Vertex is an ordered pair, x comma y. The x is 2, the y is -7. And my sketch, what's this parabola look like?
Going upward.
It's going upward because we had a positive a value. All right. Let's do one more. Which one do I want to do? Let's look at number 8. Well, actually, number 9. Let's look at number 9. What is my A?
-2.
What is my B?
8.
Is it?
Oh no, because it doesn't have an x next to it.
It's ax squared plus bx plus c. If there's no b, I don't have an x term, so that means b is 0. So if you don't have one of those powers, the coefficient is 0. My constant, my c, is 8. So axis of symmetry, opposite of b over 2a, opposite of 0 is just 0 over 2 times -2. 0 divided by -4 is 0. So axis of symmetry, x equals 0. Vertex, we have x, we need y. Y is -2 times 0 squared plus 8. So the ordered pair, x comma y, 0 comma 8. All right, and my sketch, upward or downward?